This is Christian Gomez coming to you from the New American Magazine, reporting to you about a mass shooting that occurred in Christchurch, New Zealand, which a gunman gunned down various individuals in mosques throughout New Zealand. At least 49 have been reported dead and dozens more injured. There could be more fatalities. Today we have with us Trevor Loudon, who is from Christchurch, New Zealand, joining us in the program to tell us a bit more about the perpetrator and what we know about him. Trevor, thank you for joining us today on the program.
Well, thank you. It's great to be on. And it's a very sad event. It's quite shocking that this is in my hometown, a city, a very peaceful city of 400,000 people. Now, from what we know, there are three people under arrest. The main shooter appears to be a young Australian, a 28-year-old guy, Mr. Tarrant. He posted a 74-page manifesto online.
What does that manifesto say? What do we know about the shooter and his ideology?
Well, there could be another shooter as well because another mosque was hit. So there's three people involved here at least. So what he describes himself as left-wing, socialist, and he believes that the People's Republic of China is the country that most approximates his political vision. He is also an ethno-racist in that he believes in the survival of racial separatism and the survival of the white race. So he calls himself a fascist. So as we know, fascism is essentially a left-wing ideology. So he is a left-wing. He's a left-winger. He believes in collectivism, believes in racial identity, and he believes that the West is under invasion by, European races are under attack by other races. So ultimately, to call him a right-wing extremist is a bit crazy. He is admitted left-winger, an admitted socialist, and an admitted fascist.
So
he's no advocate of a constitutional free market system.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so he's definitely not really a right-wing extremist, and he clearly he has fascistic and communistic leanings if he's embracing the People's Republic of China, which is a Marxist-Leninist state. What can you also tell us about New Zealand's gun control laws? How did this happen in New Zealand?
Well,
why New Zealand?
Well, he didn't originally plan to do this in New Zealand, but he picked New Zealand because it has a reputation as a very safe place, and he said it was a target-rich environment, meaning, I suppose, there was a lot of Muslims who could not defend themselves. But see, in New Zealand, there are plenty of guns in New Zealand. All gun owners are registered, but there are no handguns in private ownership, or the few handguns in private ownership belong to gun club members, and they have to keep those guns at gun clubs. So none of the people in those mosques would have had any chance to defend themselves by being armed, carrying a sidearm or whatever. And I would contend that what has happened is typical of these mass shootings. They all pick soft targets, places where people will not be armed, or areas where guns are restricted so that people can't fight back. And I think this is a great example. This tragedy could have been massively lessened, or probably wouldn't have even happened had widespread handgun carrying been possible in New Zealand. You just wouldn't. The whole idea is to get a high body count. This guy wants to go down on the record books to get a high body count. Now, if you're going to a place where people are carrying weapons, the body count is probably not going to be very high before you get taken out, which defeats the whole purpose of the exercise. So this incident is a tragedy, and it's a perfect example of why America's Second Amendment is so great and is the best way of countering these incidents.
Okay, so what are the implications now for the United States in regards to what happened here in New Zealand?
Well, the guy explicitly states in his manifesto that he wants to help the gun control debate in America. He wants to polarize America into pro-gun and anti-gun lines to cause an eventual civil war, which he hopes will lead to a sort of white republics being established in the United States. So he also hopes that America will no longer be able to project itself on the world. You know, he is quite anti-American. The media is calling that he's saying he's a supporter of President Trump. Well, he explicitly says this. He says that he supports Trump and that he believes Trump is unifying America. Well, is a sort of standard bearer for the white race, so he calls it. But he also says that he totally disagrees with Trump's economic policies and other policies. So he is not a Trump supporter, as you know, people are saying. So this is going to be used as this guy has done the freedom movement no favors. He's a complete disaster, and that he will increase the impetus for hate speech legislation, for gun control legislation, and I just hope that he thinks about this through his 50 or 60 years of solitary confinement that he's now got ahead of him.
So what has been the media's sort of spin or take on this mass shooting in New Zealand that you've noticed?
Basically, this is right-wing extremism. This is, you know, Islamophobia. This is, you know, all the memes that we get. You know, CARE is doing a big press release right now in the United States. It's all America's fault. It's all Trump's fault. It's all to do with the borders. It's all to do with white nationalism. It's all to do with hate speech. The same things that you would expect. They're ignoring the fact that this guy is explicitly left-wing and admires the People's Republic of China. That's all being completely ignored.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much that you have come here to the program to bring this to our attention and to our viewers. We hope to have you again, Trevor. So thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you very much, Christian, and regards to all the people up there in Appleton.
Sounds good. And also be sure out there to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the New Americans YouTube channel. Thank you. Have a great day, and God bless.